4-tomato plant trellis, which is going to allow you to plant 4 tomato plants in a small space. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 24-inch pieces of 1x2. I purchased this from Lowe's. It was $1.18 for an 8-foot piece, and I had them cut it into 32 36-inch pieces and 1 24-inch piece. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to center these two just like this, like a plus sign, and I'm going to screw this right in to these 2 pieces of wood, just like that. I'm going to, the next step is I'm going to take my Lowe's bucket. These Lowe's buckets cost about $3, I believe. They have a number 2 on the bottom, which means that they are food grade, which means you can actually plant inside this bucket. But we're not going to plant inside this bucket. We're just going to use this to feed our actual plant. And I'm going to show you all how to do that in a second. Flip this over. I'm going to drill holes on the bottom of this bucket and all the way around. Okay, so we have a hole. Guys, I'm just screwing 2 screws to make sure that this bucket is on our little thing here. We're going to take the 36-inch pieces and we're going to screw them onto each side of the 2 24 pieces that we put out. Down more. Down right there. Now we got all 4 sides up. Now we're doing the top. Using the same method we used before. This is our completed step 1. Look, bucket and 4 sides. We're gonna put it over here. We're gonna get ready to plant our tomatoes. So this is a whole folks trick right here. Take my shovel. I'm gonna dig my hole because I want my tomatoes to go up. Now, I'm gonna take an egg, put it in a hole. I'm gonna put a small crack in it. Tomatoes love eggs, so I'm putting some cracks in this right here in the hole. And now I'm going to put this tomato plant. This is a Beefmaster tomato. Put them in the hole close to the bucket. I'm going to repeat this process in all these spaces between this trellis area. Some people drop the tomato in their hole, the egg in their hole, and normally the tomato roots will kind of crack it up, and sometimes they don't. You don't want to accidentally not have a cracked egg when you go to pull up your garden in the winter. I promise you it's going to stink. That is a Mr. Stripey. It's a heirloom tomato. And you see how close I'm kind of planting these to the bucket? Tomato plant, please. This is a Golden Jubilee. And this is the last one right here. Okay, go ahead, grab that right there so we can show them And I'm going to take the egg, hit it with my, that's it. Crack the egg. This is going to be a Cherokee tomato. And I'm going to kind of, y'all can see I'm kind of like pushing them towards the bucket. So let's show y'all what that looks like. Tomatoes planted around this bucket. Okay. Time for the next step. So now that we have our structure built, we've planted our tomatoes, got the eggs in the hole, we're just gonna take that same fencing that we use to build the squash trellises for the tomato trellises. I'm gonna measure this out, cut it, and then we're going to cut off the access up here around the tops of our little trellis because we want to be able to reach into there and grab our tomatoes. I'm also going to cut a few of these squares and make them a little bigger so as the tomato plants grow up, I can reach in here and also grab tomatoes out as well. I'm going to string or zip tie this trellis onto our box that we made. Using this technique, I'm going to go on the top of this one. I'm going to come under it on this side. So when I tie it, it's over under. That way it won't move. Okay, here is our completed 4 tomato trellis. Now, recap on the materials. I got 5 1x2s, had them cut them. I had them cut 4 pieces into 2 36-inch pieces and 1 24-inch piece. The 5th board, I had them cut them into 4 24-inch pieces. And this will allow you to build 2 of these tomato trellises. I got the fencing as a roll, 50-foot roll from Lowe's, and I've used it so far to build 3 different types of trellis, and I have plenty more left to build another tomato trellis, another squash trellis, and my green bean trellises. I got a Lowe's bucket that cost about $3. I drilled 2 screws in there. I used string that I bought from Dollar Tree. Voila, 4 tomato plants in a trellis. Remember, in the bucket, I'm gonna put a little bit of cow manure and compost that I paid about $4 for the box, the bag from Lowe's. I'm gonna put a little bit of that in the bucket, along with some rainwater I've collected, and that's going to feed these tomatoes even more nutrients, along with the egg that we put in the ground.
Here? Start here, Mama?
Board tomato trellis.